Hey everyone, I want to show you guys a new poleaxe that I made based on a historical design, and I'll include a picture of the original historical design. Basically, it's a flat axe head with a hammer on the back, and it's got a top spike over here, butt spike over here, and then it's got langets on the side which reinforce the shaft, but also provide a hitting surface, right? So I've got this taped, I have this marked as a hitting surface over here. So I've already had a chance to try this out, and I love it. It is a lot lighter. Well, it's actually not a lot lighter, but it is light enough that I feel the difference. This one over here weighs about 4 pounds. This one over here is only 5 ounces lighter, okay? But those 5 ounces make a tremendous difference. First of all, those 5 ounces are in the head area. A tremendous difference, particularly with pulling back the axe head, right, for a second strike, okay? I'm finding that the other one is a lot quicker for pulling it back, okay? Now, the other advantage that I'm finding with this design over here is this design over here is balanced on its y-axis, okay? So with this one over here, if I hold this like this and I roll it, right, you know, it's balanced as all the way around, right? And that makes it a lot easier if you're on this side over here and you're cutting over to that side where you're crossing your arms. It makes this a lot easier to roll over from one side to the other. That's one of the places where I find that having a poleaxe that is balanced really pays a dividend. With this one over here, I'm still able to make that offside cut, but I have to make a lot more effort to make sure that my edge is aligned correctly. Now, one of the things I've done with both of these axes to align the edges, I've shaved down the sides over here, right? So this isn't a round shaft. This is basically rectangular, and that gives me a good sense of where my blade is, and I can cross over to the other side, you know, or go low like this, and I know where that edge is. However, it's a lot more effort with this, because if I hold this one over here and I let it roll, you can see how that axe, that head, the big head wants to roll down, okay? So this one is not balanced on its y-axis, whereas this one over here, okay, this one is balanced on its y-axis. Doesn't matter, you know, when you're holding this, you know, this side has the same amount of weight as this side. This one over here is a little bit more spread out. This one over here is a little bit more concentrated. And again, this being just 5 ounces lighter makes a huge difference when, you know, bringing this axe back to make those follow-up strikes. Okay, so you know, you can tell from the marks on the tape over here, I already had a chance to use this, and I'm absolutely loving this. So again, I'm going to post a picture of the original historical design that this is based on. Now, this is all wood, right? So this is for practice purposes. Obviously, we don't in the practices that I go to, we don't use steel axes to fight with. They have to either have a rubber head, which is what this one has over here. This one has a solid rubber head on the inside. Now, one of the things I have found with the rubber heads is that, you know, a lot of times people, when you hit them, they expect a certain sound on the helmet, right? Because they're used to being hit with like wooden wasters, and the rubber doesn't make that sound. And a lot of times, you know, especially with the helmets that we wear that are like 9 to 10 pounds, if it's only rubber, they don't acknowledge that blow. So one of the things I've done is I've put a piece of rattan wood on the edge over here and edge over here. Basically, it's like a hat. Like I took the shaft, I cut it in half. You know, basically, so it's a half a piece of rattan here, half a piece of rattan on this side. They call it a clacker. And the purpose of that is basically just to make a sound when it hits somebody's steel helmet, so that they know that they've been hit. Because sometimes, like, I could be hitting them so hard that their head's like just getting blown completely to the sides, and because it doesn't make that sound, they're like not acknowledging the blows. They think maybe they've been shoved or something. You know, they don't realize they've actually been hit. even though the head's getting like knocked completely over, because the sound isn't there. So having that wood on the edge makes that sound that they're accustomed to and that they're looking for. So this one over here, there's no rubber in this one. Okay, so this one is all wood. So the same shaft that I have here, you know, I put it up here, and all the spacers in between, those are all same wood. So I've crafted this of all wood. And rubber, I think, tends to be heavier. So that's probably why this one is a little bit heavier, because rubber's heavy. Okay, it's more. I think a lot of times it's more dense than wood. I don't know 100%, but the rubber's pretty heavy. Now, one of the things I've had to do with this one over here, because there was a little bit more weight on the axe head, a lot of times what I was finding is when this thing was striking either a head or another, you know, either somebody's head or somebody's weapon, and they would basically bind up here, because there was a little bit more weight up here on the head, this would like, it was floppy. Okay, so even though these two sticks are the same diameter, because this one had a little bit more weight on the head, this one ended up being just a little bit more floppy. So what I had to do in order to cut down on that floppiness and also preserve the shaft is I had to take some additional wood, right, and basically reinforce the shaft over here, right? That's why you see it's a little bit wider over here. So what I did is I took a staff like this and basically just split it down the middle with a saw and put half here and half here. And I was able to reinforce this so that it wouldn't flop when it hits stuff, right? Especially if it hit here, it wouldn't flop this way. So with this one over here, again, even though these two shafts are the same diameter, because the head is just a little bit lighter, just 5 ounces lighter, when this one hits a shaft of somebody's head, it does. I saw in the practice that I went to, and this is one of the things I was watching for. Just because the head's a little bit lighter, it doesn't want to flop over. It doesn't want to keep going, which is going to basically preserve the shaft. Okay, and that's one of the things with even historical poleaxes. Okay, there's lots of artwork. I'll include the pictures. There's lots of artwork that show broken poleaxes on the battlefield that break just below the langets. Okay, so these are the steel langets here. This is the steel reinforcement. So wherever the langets end, they usually break just underneath that. Okay. And again, that's because the mass of the head is the weapon's, you know, own enemy, basically. Okay, so if I can make this head a little bit lighter, right, but still, you know, have it move like a poleaxe and hit like a poleaxe, that would, you know, that basically would be a better training weapon. Okay, so this has really good stiffness. It doesn't, I mean, it has a little bit of give, but not too much give. And because this is wood over here, when it hits somebody's helmet, it makes the sound that they're expecting, and they take the shot. And it actually means I can hit them lighter, right? Because if I'm hitting them with a rubber head, a lot of times what I find is I have to hit them really hard so that they can acknowledge the blow. But if I've got a wooden head, it makes a loud, distinct sound, right? Because rubber absorbs the sound, whereas wood makes sound. So I can give them a lighter blow, and they will acknowledge the hit, and I don't have to hit them as hard. So really interesting how this is working out. But I absolutely love this poleaxe design, this head design over here. And I love how this is just balanced on its y-axis, which was kind of the problem I had with this. I mean, I can still fight with it. I love fighting with this, but because it's not balanced on this axis, you have to make more of an effort to make sure that you're controlling the edge alignment. Okay, you have to make more of an effort to control the edge alignment. With this, you know, there's less effort in controlling that edge alignment. So I want to show this to you guys in case you know, maybe you guys want to build one of your own and start fighting poleaxe. So hope you enjoyed the video. Drop some comments below. I'll talk to you all soon. Oh, in case you guys were wondering, the length on this is about just a little bit over 6 foot.